Nick always wanted what was best for his brother and supported him throughout everything, which is why if you look back on history, you'll see Nick in his first music video with him. You'll see Nick on stage with him. You'll see Nick bringing Aaron out on the road with him. Nick always supported Aaron and loved and cared about him and wanted what was best for him.
Oh, the new documentary on Paramount Plus, The Carters Hurts to Love You, follows American teen heartthrobs Nick and Aaron Carter, who seem to have it all. Behind the scenes, though, it was a family dealing with mental health struggles, drug addiction, and really heartbreaking neglect. Aaron's twin sister, Angel Carter Conrad, is telling this emotional story, and Soleil Moon Frye is the director and one of the executive producers on the film. We have both of them live with us now. Thank you both so much for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
Angel, I do want to start with you. This is a very powerful documentary, and I'm struck as someone who grew up in a household of substance abuse as well. I just want to thank you for sharing this because it is something that oftentimes people don't want to talk about. You lost 4 family members in 11 years to substance abuse, including your twin, Aaron. Did making this documentary actually help you through the grief, or did it bring up more pain?
Oh, this documentary and making this film with Soleil, it has been incredibly healing. To be able to put my grief into purpose, it is a gift, honestly. And I always say it's the same thing as with addiction. If someone is struggling with addiction, if they start helping people who are struggling, it will actually help keep them sober. So it's the same thing with grief, and just being able to give back is such a blessing.
I think that's really important for people to hear. Soleil, I did read that you got involved in this documentary because you felt somewhat of a connection to Aaron based on your experience as a child star yourself. If people don't know, you were in Punky Brewster. Can you explain this connection and kind of how this then played into you getting involved in the documentary?
Absolutely. I actually worked with Aaron when he was very young, and he was just this vivacious, bubbly, beautiful spirit, and he lit up every place around him. And it was so wonderful to then meet Angel, and I just wanted to create a safe space for her to be able to speak her truth and share her family's story and their journey. She had gone through so much trauma, and she was really taking that pain and turning it into purpose. And I wanted to lead with empathy and create such meaningful conversations around mental health and addiction, because this is such a universal topic for us all.
It really is. And I think if you get into the documentary itself too, just the family dysfunction, I think a lot of people can identify with. There's also, the sibling part of this, which I think people don't talk about. Oftentimes it's a parent or maybe a guardian who's dealing with generational trauma or substance abuse. But this was a group of siblings. Angel, I know there's a story within here about a time where you drove with your brother Aaron to Nick's house and he had a gun with him. Can you tell us a little bit about that moment for you, kind of what it led to you and your thinking, and how do you think Aaron would feel about his portrayal within this documentary?
Yeah, so that actually, when that happened, when Aaron drove with a gun to Nick's home, I was not with him. We had already filed the restraining orders at that time, and I had to create some distance between the two of I, and we as a family did not feel safe around him. I did that because I wanted to protect him as well. But it was a scary time, and it was a real time, and this is the reality of his situation. Things had gotten so bad, and he was no longer there. I mean, I did not recognize him anymore, and I honestly don't even think that he, recognized himself. But what I can tell you is I know Aaron very well, and I know that where he is now, there is no shame. And in order to help people, you do have to tell the truth, and that includes the ugly stuff too. And that's how we're gonna, continue to help people, continue with this message, and to destigmatize, mental health and addiction, and lead with more love and compassion and empathy for people.
And when you see Aaron's struggles, I think you see so much that's happening globally. I don't think we've even begun to scratch the surface on how social media is affecting young people today. And you see the bullying and you see it happening in real time. And just to what point is there a breaking point? And I felt like in watching his journey, we're watching so many people's journey.
I think that's true. I mean, statistics show 1 in 5 kids has a mental health disorder, typically before the age of 14. So, I mean, this is something that does impact so many lives. Thank you both so much for being with us this morning to talk through the documentary. I hope people really get a lot out of it. Thank you both.
Thank you so much
for sharing.
The 2-part documentary, The Carters, is now streaming on Paramount Plus. Thank you for being with us this morning.